There is a massive protest going on in Abuja, and this protest is led by one of the strongest groups in Nigeria, the Obedient Movement. The Obedient Movement is a political group that you should never mess with. They don't tolerate mediocrity from any political leaders. And today, they are demanding one thing: Wike must go. If you want to know what happened that made the Obedience and FCT workers hit the streets demanding the removal of Minister Wike, subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any updates on this developing story. The Minister of FCT, Nyesom Wike, has forgotten his primary functions. The minister has been fighting a lost battle with Fubara, the governor of Rivers State, and then neglecting his primary assignment as the Minister of FCT. According to sources, workers in FCT are not paid their salaries, there are no promotions, and there is poor treatment in the welfare of workers in the FCT. This has angered many of them who are obedient and ready to push for changes. These protesters have hit the streets, and all they are asking is that Wike should be removed and that he doesn't deserve to be minister if he can't cater for the needs of the workers within his control. The protest followed a directive from the NLC, which declared full support for the industrial action, describing the strike as justified amid what it termed persistent violations of workers' rights by the FCTA management and political leadership. Placards carried by the protesters bore inscriptions such as "Wike must go," "Abuja no be Rivers," "Pay promotion arrears," "Enough is enough," and "No working tools." The involvement of the Obedient movement has given this protest significant political weight. The Obedients are known for their organized activism, their ability to mobilize large numbers of people, and their refusal to back down when they believe injustice is happening. When they join a cause, it gains national attention and puts serious pressure on those in power. The streets of Abuja are filled with workers, obedient supporters, and concerned citizens all demanding accountability from Minister Wike. They are chanting slogans, carrying placards, and making it clear that they will not accept poor treatment of workers in the nation's capital. The strike, which has disrupted several administrative activities in the Federal Capital Territory, centers on unpaid promotion arrears, inadequate working tools, and what unions describe as hostile labor relations within the administration. Let's break down what the workers are complaining about. First, many FCT workers have been promoted on paper but have not received the salary increases and benefits that come with those promotions. Some workers were promoted months or even years ago but are still being paid at their old grade level. This is not just unfair, it is demoralizing and financially damaging to these workers and their families. Second, workers are complaining about inadequate working tools. Imagine being expected to do your job properly but not having the basic equipment, computers, vehicles, or materials you need. This is the reality for many FCT workers. They are being asked to deliver services to the public without being given the tools to do so effectively. Third, the unions describe the relationship between workers and FCTA management as hostile. Workers feel disrespected, ignored, and treated poorly by their bosses. When they raise concerns, they are dismissed. When they ask for their rights, they are threatened. This kind of toxic work environment has pushed them to the point where striking is the only option left. One of the major complaints from the protesters is captured in the placard that says "Abuja no be Rivers." This is a direct reference to Minister Wike's ongoing political battle with Governor Sim Fubara of Rivers State. Since becoming Minister of FCT, Wike has been heavily involved in Rivers State politics. He is fighting for control of the state's political structure, engaging in public disputes with the governor, and spending significant time and energy on Rivers State matters instead of focusing on his responsibilities in Abuja. Many people are asking, if Wike is so interested in Rivers State politics, why is he Minister of FCT? Why doesn't he resign and go back to Rivers State to fight his political battles there? Why should FCT workers and Abuja residents suffer because their minister is distracted by issues in another state? The protesters and the obedient movement are making it clear that Wike needs to choose. Either focus on being Minister of FCT and serve the people of Abuja properly, or leave the position and go fight his Rivers State battles. He cannot do both, and right now, FCT is suffering because of his divided attention. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, had approached the National Industrial Court to challenge the legality of the strike. According to the administration, the industrial action violated established labor procedures, including failure to exhaust dispute resolution mechanisms before embarking on a total shutdown. Instead of addressing the workers' grievances directly, Wike has chosen to go to court to stop the strike. His legal team argues that the workers did not follow proper procedures before going on strike and that they should have tried other ways to resolve their complaints first. The FCTA leadership also argued that the strike poses a serious threat to public order and essential services in the nation's capital. Officials maintained that seeking judicial interpretation was necessary to safeguard governance continuity and prevent what they described as an attempt to hold the city to ransom through prolonged industrial action. This court approach has angered the workers and protesters even more. They feel that instead of listening to their complaints and addressing their needs, Wike is trying to use the legal system to force them back to work without solving the problems that made them strike in the first place. The involvement of the obedient movement in this protest changes the dynamics completely. The obedients are not just protesting about workers' salaries and promotions. They are making this a broader statement about political accountability, good governance, and the need for leaders to focus on their jobs instead of personal political battles. The obedient movement rose to prominence during the 2023 elections as supporters of Peter Obi. They are known for being highly organized, politically aware, and willing to take action when they see injustice or poor governance. They use social media effectively, they mobilize quickly, and they don't give up easily. When the obedient say Wike must go, it's not just a slogan, it's a political demand backed by thousands of active, engaged citizens who will continue to protest, campaign, and put pressure on the government until they see change. The strike has already disrupted several administrative activities in the Federal Capital Territory. Government offices are operating at reduced capacity or not at all. Services that residents of Abuja depend on are being delayed or cancelled. The normal functioning of the nation's capital has been affected. This disruption shows how serious the workers are about their demands. They are willing to shut down government operations until their grievances are addressed. This is not a minor protest that can be ignored. This is a full-scale industrial action that is affecting the daily life of everyone in Abuja. These protests and strike have serious political implications for both Wike and the Tinubu administration. Wike is one of President Tinubu's key political allies. His appointment as Minister of FCT was part of a political arrangement after the 2023 elections. If Wike is forced to resign or is removed because of this protest, it will be a major political embarrassment for the administration. It would also send a message that political appointments must be based on competence and commitment, not just political deals. On the other hand, if President Tinubu backs Wike and ignores the protesters' demands, it could damage the administration's relationship with workers, unions, and the obedient movement. The government would be seen as protecting a minister who is not doing his job while workers suffer. The case is now in court, the protest is ongoing, and the strike continues. The court will have to decide whether the workers followed proper procedures or whether their strike is illegal. But regardless of what the court says, the political and public pressure on Wike is mounting. Workers want their promotion arrears paid, they want working tools provided, and they want to be treated with respect. The obedient movement wants Wike removed from office. The NLC is backing the strike, and the people of Abuja are watching to see how their minister will respond. Wike has a choice to make. He can continue fighting in court and trying to force workers back to work without addressing their complaints. Or he can sit down with the unions, resolve the issues, pay what is owed, provide the needed tools, and focus on doing his job as Minister of FCT. The streets of Abuja are filled with protesters demanding the removal of Minister Nyesom Wike. Led by the Obedient Movement and backed by the NLC, workers are on strike over unpaid promotion arrears, lack of working tools, and poor treatment. Wike has gone to court to challenge the strike, but the protesters are not backing down. The message is clear: Wike must go, Abuja no be rivers, and enough is enough. This is Nigeria News Update, and we will continue to follow this developing story and bring you updates on the protest, the court case, and the government's response.